Hi everybody and welcome to my channel Spanish with Elena. Hola a todos y bienvenidos a mi canal Spanish with Elena. The 20 most important phrasal verbs in Spanish. Los 20 phrasal verbs más importantes en español. This is the name of the video and obviously this is what we're going to deal with. But first I would like to explain to you the difference between a phrasal verb and a prepositional verb. A prepositional verb is a verb that always goes with a specific preposition, like dream of or think of. In Spanish, you would say dream with, soñar con, or think in, pensar en. Prepositional verbs, we have many prepositional verbs in Spanish. What we don't have is phrasal verbs. We don't have phrasal verbs. So they're kind of confusing and tricky. They're a nightmare for us. At least they were for me. Well, anyway, the thing is that you native English speakers use phrasal verbs a lot. It's crazy. So I think it could be kind of useful for you to learn how to use these phrasal verbs in Spanish. But as I was explaining to you the difference between a prepositional verb and a phrasal verb is a verb that when you put a preposition next to it, the meaning of the verb changes, okay? Like, for instance, to look, it means something, okay? And if you put after next to it, it means something completely different, okay? It means to take care. So it's crazy, right? Okay. So I'm going to tell you how this is going to work. I'm going to tell you the meaning of these 20 phrasal verbs, and I will make sentences with each of them so you can put them into practice and see how it goes in Spanish, okay? We're going to do all this together, like always. So, ¿estamos preparados para aprender un poquito de español? ¿Sí? Comenzamos. Primer phrasal verb, to shut up, callarse. This is an easy one. I'm sure all of you know how to use this verb. The only thing is that in Spanish it is a reflexive verb, and you have to be extra careful with reflexive verbs in Spanish because you must never forget to use the reflexive pronoun, okay? Any verb that ends with se is a reflexive one. Let's take a look at the example. Cállate y hazlo. Notice that I've used a reflexive pronoun. It is an imperative, so the pronoun goes at the end of the verb and it becomes a one-word verb, okay? Cállate y hazlo. Segundo phrasal verb, sentarse. Once again, it's a reflexive verb in Spanish. So the sentence would be, siéntate, por favor. Like in the previous example, it is an imperative, so the reflexive pronoun goes at the end of the verb, siéntate, this is the reflexive pronoun, and we have a one-word verb in Spanish. Siéntate, por favor. Now let's see the opposite. Ponerse de pie. And once again, oh my God, it's a reflexive one, okay? Ponerse de pie. Por favor, ponte de pie. Ponte, imperative. Te, reflexive pronoun, at the end of the verb, just one word verb. Ponte de pie. Por favor, ponte de pie. levantarse, another reflexive verb. But this time it's different. The sentence is it's different. Hoy me levanté bastante tarde. No imperative, but the preterite. So notice how the reflexive pronoun goes before the verb. Hoy me, reflexive pronoun, levanté bastante tarde. Buscar. Finally, a non-reflexive verb. Okay, buscar. In this case, to look up, because to look for also means buscar in Spanish. But try to focus on look up, okay? And the sentence is, ¿cómo se dice pan en alemán? No lo sé. Búscalo en el diccionario. There are a couple of things I would like you to pay attention to in this sentence. The first one is no lo sé. In English, you say I don't know. In Spanish, we say I don't know it. Okay? You never forget to say lo. No lo sé. Okay? And the second important thing or interesting thing is búscalo. It's not a reflexive verb, but when you use in the imperative the pronoun lo, you put it at the end of the verb and it becomes a one-word verb. Búscalo. All together. Búscalo. This is an easy one. Continuar. El espectáculo debe continuar. We have a word in Spanish for show, espectáculo. But if you say show, people will understand you because we also use that word in Spanish, okay? Encender. ¿Quién encendió la televisión? ¿Quién encendió la televisión? And now the opposite. Apagar. Apaga la luz al salir. Apaga la luz al salir. Girarse. Another reflexive verb. Cuando oí tu voz, me giré. Me is a reflexive pronoun and it goes before the verb. Cuando oí tu voz, me giré. Huir, to run away. ¿De qué huías cuando te vi? The most interesting thing about this sentence is the fact that the preposition goes at the very beginning of the question. This is something that happens in Spanish. In English, you put the preposition at the very end. In Spanish, we put it at the very beginning. So, ¿de qué huías cuando te vi? Let's forget about the second part of the sentence and just pay attention to the first part. ¿De qué huías? What were you running away from? In Spanish, it would be something like, from what were you running away? Okay, the position of the preposition in a question is different. It goes at the very beginning. So, ¿de qué huías? From what were you running away? I know it sounds weird, but that's the way we say it. Explotar. To go off. There's another verb in English that means the same, to explode. Obviously, English is not my first language. You already know that. I'm a native Spanish speaker. So for me, it's easier to learn the verb to explode rather than to go off. Because explotar and to explode have a very similar spelling and they also sound very similar. So this is one of the reasons why I hate phrasal verbs so much. The list of phrasal verbs that I hate is so freaking long. Anyway, that's my thing. That's my nightmare, not yours. You can love phrasal verbs. Anyway, let's put it into practice. Let's see how it works in Spanish. Por suerte, el edificio estaba vacío cuando explotó la bomba. Something interesting. The subject. In Spanish, Spanish is a kind of flexible language when regarding word order. In this case, the subject, la bomba, goes after the verb. Just because I wanted to put it there. I mean, you can say la bomba explotó o explotó la bomba. Both are correct, both mean the same, okay? It's just that I did it on purpose so I could explain this to you, okay? Just in case you were looking for the subject and you didn't find it because you were like, ¿cuándo explotó? What? Where is the subject? The subject is la bomba and you can put it after the verb, okay? Bajar. This is a very easy phrasal verb because I didn't mention this before. I'm gonna say it now. When you have a phrasal verb, let's say that there are like two kinds of phrasal verbs. Sorry, those whose meaning changes completely. Like for instance, to look after. That means to take care. It has nothing to do with to look, okay? And then those that are kind of self-explanatory. I mean, to go up, to go down. It means the same. You are going somewhere. You're just explaining the direction, okay? If you are going upwards or downwards. So it's a phrasal verb, but it's different. This kind of phrasal verbs, these ones, I love them, okay? Yeah, we're friends, okay? So, to go down, bajar in Spanish. To go up, subir, just in case you want to know. Now let's put it into practice. Ana, ¿puedes bajar a la bodega y traer otra botella de vino tinto? Volver, to come back. This is similar to those phrasal verbs like to go up, to go down, to come back. It means it's self-explanatory. I mean, to come back, to return. In Spanish, we would say volver or regresar. Maybe you could say that to return is regresar and to come back is volver. But they both mean the same, so it's not a big deal. Let's put it into practice. ¿Cuándo vuelves de Londres? ¿Cuándo vuelves de Londres? Cuidar. I've already mentioned this phrasal verb a couple of times before, so let's just put it into practice, okay? Necesito que cuides de mi perro mientras estoy fuera. Necesito que cuides de mi perro mientras estoy fuera. Despegar. To take off. Once again, we are going back to this list of phrasal verbs that I don't get. I mean, I think it's very smart to have a verb, to put a preposition afterwards, and to create a new verb. That's very smart. I don't get it, but it's very smart. So, despegar, to take off. Let's put it into practice. ¿Cuándo despegó el avión? ¿Cuándo despegó el avión? Estropearse, to break down. This is not an easy verb in Spanish, so I need you to be a little bit patient. Okay, first of all, is a reflexive verb in Spanish because it ends with se, okay? So we're gonna need to use a reflexive pronoun. Okay, let's pay attention to the sentence. Llegué tarde a la reunión porque se me estropeó el coche. Okay, did you find the reflexive pronoun? Se. It's se because the subject is el coche. Okay? Well, then you have me. And you might be wondering, why do we have two pronouns? Okay, se is a reflexive one, and me means that it's your fault, in a way, that the car broke down. It's your car, so it's on you. That's the thing. I don't know why we do that, but even though if it's not our fault, we blame ourselves, and we have to do that. So the owner of the car is the one to blame, and we have to use a personal pronoun to include, in the sentence. Se me estropeó el coche. And once again, the subject, el coche, goes after the verb, but that's something that you can change. You can say, el coche se me estropeó. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's try an experiment here. Let's change the subject. Instead of yo, the subject is going to be él. Él llegó tarde a la reunión porque, pay attention here, se le estropeó el coche. Se doesn't change because it's a reflexive pronoun that has to do with el coche. But instead of me, that would be me, yo, the owner of the car. Now the owner of the car is él. So the pronoun would be le. Se le estropeó el coche. It's his fault. His car, his fault. Okay? Does it make sense? I hope it does. If you want, we can keep practicing with the same sentence. Let's say, llegamos, now the subject is nosotros. Llegamos tarde a la reunión porque se nos estropeó el coche. Se doesn't change because it has to do with the car. But now, instead of me, when it was my car, or le, when it was his car, is nos, because it's our car. You see? Se nos estropeó el coche. Devolver, to give back. This is a self-explanatory phrasal verb. It's not a hard one. Let's see an example. Hace unas semanas le presté a mi hermana una chaqueta y todavía no me la ha devuelto. The only tricky thing is the fact that the past participle is irregular. Devolver, devuelto. Other than that, I think it's a very easy one, either in English or in Spanish. Devolver, to give back. Vale. 3 más y terminamos. Subirse, to get on. Subirse a un medio de transporte. Subirse a un tren, subirse a un avión, subirse a una guagua, subirse a un taxi, subirse a un coche, subirse a una moto. Let's see. El taxista estaba borracho, por eso no me subí en el taxi. Pay attention to this. Subirse en Spanish. No me subí en el taxi. Penúltimo phrasal verb. Superar. To get over. Tardé mucho tiempo en superar mi divorcio. Tardé mucho tiempo en superar mi divorcio. Desear. To look forward. Estamos deseando tener noticias tuyas. Estamos deseando saber de ti. That would be another translation from the same sentence in English. We're looking forward to hearing from you. ¿Estamos deseando tener noticias tuyas o estamos deseando saber de ti? This time more than ever, thank you, thank you, thank you very much for watching this video. It was not an easy video to watch. It was not an easy video to make. It was pretty intense. I know phrasal verbs are not so easy in any language. So thank you for watching. If you have any doubts, you can comment below. I will be more than happy to help you with all of them. Okay? Remember to like if you like the video and to subscribe if you're interested in getting more videos from me. And see you soon. Hasta pronto. Adiós.